Hello, my friends, and welcome. Welcome back to another session with the Older Man. Today, my friends, we're going to examine a pretty interesting video. I came across it this morning. It seems to be making the rounds. 40 and up women still searching for the one. And it's being presented by a channel called Remnant Princess. This young lady, whoever she is, has put together a nice collection of videos highlighting today's modern woman's greatest problem. Now, she's tend to have focused on, seems to be the women in the black community. But I'm going to point out some serious similarities, and I want you guys to start thinking outside your own way of understanding life. All right? Because you don't want to fall into the same trap as the women are falling into. Solipsism. We understand what that word means when it comes to relationships in the red pill space. It means that women tend to only view the world from their perspective. They are the stars in their own movie. They are the princesses that has to be rescued. They are the heroes or the heroines in their own movie. They are the ones that are going to kick butt and conquer the world. They're the ones that are going to get the top man. They're the ones that are going to control this man, and he's going to be completely loyal to her. Everything is around her. The idea that she deserves this simply because she was privileged to be born with a vagina. She deserves it. She deserves that top man's resources. Think about that word. She deserves this is what we're going to look at as well, because this seems to be the common narrative. And I'm going to mention my dear wife, and I'm going to mention Maria. Okay, my wife is 54. The thing is, she's a little ways on in life. She got it. She was like most of these women I'm going to describe, but she got hold of herself and she found her man, so to speak. Moi. Maria, on the other hand, she's in the danger zone. And I mean really in the danger zone. She's 32 years old. But I don't want to get too far into the story. You know what? Let's start the video and then I will interrupt as I go along so that I can share with you my insights on this phenomenon. Okay? My friends, school's open. Let the lesson begin, my friend. Subscribe. Please subscribe. You do not want to keep missing these lessons. All right?
Hey y'all, so word on the street is that if the men's is, the males is and things is at Home Depot.
40 and up women still searching for the one. What we're seeing is a lot of black females, the older they get, they are still unmarried. And we're seeing so many different examples of females today in our industry. And every time their career goes up, somehow simultaneously their love life goes down with it. And a lot of people have things to say about it. People will either say it's a gender war, but really what's going on is we're just consuming different things online. And people don't know how to make out of it. But how I see it is just a different switch to a new reality that black females are customizing themselves to, and they have a lot to say about it.
When you start to become more intentional about yourself, everything changes. When you start to prioritize yourself and you become the center of your world, along with God, of course, everything changes. We even start to date differently. In my opinion, I think a lot of women center men to be the center of their world. Like, it's always about getting a man, finding a man, keeping a man. When you start to prioritize yourself and making yourself the center of your world, you start to realize, is this man enough for me? You don't want to rush into a relationship anymore. You actually want to take your time and be intentional, because everything else in your life starts to become intentional.
See, this is where the problem comes in. And I've had deep discussions with my guest, Maria. I'm going to flash that video up here. We had a lot of intense discussions offline, or off camera, I should say, because she don't understand this concept. This is the problem with a lot of women over here in Dubai. The women over here in Dubai are looking for financial opportunities. There's those who are looking for the easy way out. They're looking to try to find a rich man that they can finesse, marry, and live the soft life. There's those who don't have any opportunities at home, you know, Indians, Filipinos, etc. and they're over here to work as hard as they can to send money back home. And then there's those who come over here to find financial opportunities, like Maria, to actually move ahead in life, try to work hard and secure their financial future without a man's help. And this is where she's discussing the mentality of a lot of black women in America. I don't need a man. I got the education. I got the university degree. I can do it myself, and I should focus on myself. And I've had these discussions with you guys before, and there's nothing wrong with this concept. It's just that what they've done is that they have it ass backwards. Meaning what these women should be doing is actually in their 20s, when they are at the peak of their beauty and fertility, they should take advantage of that and find a man instead of prioritizing career. Because careers can come later in life. Relationships can't. The men that she wants, she's not going to attract them when she has a career. But she will attract those men that she wants with her youth and beauty and fertility. This is what women fail to understand. My wife, she's now 54. 54? Yeah. 54? Yeah. She's 54. We've been married for 20 years. This is the only picture she will allow me to share online with her. Simply because it's been up on Facebook for the last, 8-9 years. Right? This picture was taken after we had our first child, probably a year old. I think my daughter here is a year old, my first daughter. I took this photo, and you can see she's above average looking woman. Her concept of life is significantly different from a below average woman. The results that she receives from life are significantly different from women who are average looking. So her reality of life is significantly different. And this is the same thing that Maria is also experiencing here. If you go and look at the video, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Just quickly, she's a real estate agent, but the problem with her is that she don't know whether men are coming to her because they want to buy real estate or they're trying to sleep with her. And it's a difficult thing to navigate because she don't want to be that real estate hoe, so to speak. She wants to run an honest business and try to make money honestly. So all I'm trying to do, gentlemen, is to give you two pieces of advice. You have to see and understand what women have to navigate because their reality is different to yours. We men, we understand about our life is that these women should understand this. They should know it. No, they don't. They have a feminist system that is constantly ingraining in them that they should get their career first. They should have their whole phase. All of these negative things that empower women, that's ingrained in every single woman that gets this message everywhere around the world. They can't run from it because whether they're seeing it directly from television, movies, magazines, it's coming from her friends, their teachers, their university. It's coming at them from every aspect of life. So you can't blame women. That's their reality.
Now, that's coming from a young female. But when it comes to 40 and up black females, they go through a roller coaster when it comes to what it means to be single.
I just saw the funniest post about how women in their 40s and above are in competition with younger women. These are my thoughts. First off, when you hit a certain age, you're truly not in competition with people who generally have less money than you do. I'm just saying. Once you hit your 40s, you dress for yourself. You really don't care about what other people think. Third thought is, who came up with the idea of what women in their 40s should look like or dress like? That's the question for you. Where did you get the idea from? 45, I wear what I love.
Oh, my dear. You are in competition with young girls for men because men are looking for younger women than you are. So if you're talking about competition for the male species, yeah, you're in competition whether you know it or like it or not. I don't understand where's the competition. What are you talking about competition? Yeah, women compete against each other for what? For looks? For gaze? For what? What are you talking about when it comes to if you're in a competition, who's the prize? If you're competing, there's either a goal or a prize. Otherwise, there's no competition. You're just playing. The competition is you want the male gaze or you want the ring and the commitment from a man. And young women are your competition because 40-year-old men are not looking for 40-year-old women. Money is not a metrics for men to choose you. So this is where you don't understand. This is where a lot of you women just are clueless or you're ignoring this point. No woman says, oh, I need to make a lot of money so I can attract a man. No woman says that. All women say, oh, I need to make a lot of money so I don't need a man. I want a man, but I don't need a man. Yes, you need a man. Your idea of a man at this point is just different. But you need a man. You need and you want a man. That's the reality of it. You need a man if you want to procreate. And you need a man to solve your loneliness, your companionship, any issues that deals with bonding with another human being. You need a man because you're not going to get the same result from your cats and dogs, your cousins and your mother and your father who at 40, if you're 40 years old, they don't have a lot of time left on this earth. Reality of it is you want and you need a man to satisfy this aspect of your life. So I wish women would stop using that term. I don't need a man, but I want a man. Because all you're thinking about is the financial aspect of it. Not realizing that not thinking beyond the freaking financials is just a shallow way of looking at relationships. Because there's a lot of rich people who divorce. There's a lot of rich people who are lonely. There's a lot of rich people who delete themselves because they're not satisfied with life. Money is not the metrics for happiness. It's only a tool that makes life easier. Tell me I'm wrong.
There are so many more social stigmas around older women dating younger men. Usually when we talk about big age gaps and it's an older man with a younger woman, we talk about power imbalance. But when we talk about an older woman with a younger man, we talk about how weird it is that he could possibly find her attractive. And that, I think, is so unbelievably superficial. And it really adds to this narrative that as women become older, we become less important, we become obsolete, we become invisible, we become less attractive.
Leaving them still searching for the one. Even though time has clearly gone by, it doesn't change that they're waiting.
Yes, because women have made this narrative in their head that the older they get and more money they make, that they become more valuable to the men that they want. And it's such a stupid way of looking at life. Once again, women just look at life from their perspective. You don't understand. Ladies, you are the product. Men buy products. I hate to put it this shallowly, but I'm trying to get you to understand it. So until you're getting on your knees and asking the man to marry you and also putting up the fortune that you have worked hard for to say, I'm going to take care of you, man, you don't have the right to tell the man what he should want. And the man is clearly telling you what he wants. Fit, friendly, feminine, agreeable woman. And those things rarely fall under a woman who's in her 40s, set in her ways, developed the boss bee mentality. Because in order for a woman to excel in the workplace to a degree that she is now an authoritative figure, she has to have a mindset that is extremely masculine, extremely aggressive. All the characteristics of other men. So the problem is, ladies, it's not that men don't find you attractive because you got money. It's just that the characteristics that you developed to get that money are not what men find attractive, number one. And number two, the attitude that comes with your superiority of having money, meaning I don't need you, simply puts that man in the worst possible position that you can ever put him in, which is a useless man. If you want to insult any man, you tell him that he's useless. It doesn't matter how much money he has. If you tell a man he is useless, that is one of the worst insults next to bearing another man's seed. That comes a close second, telling a man he's useless. Because every man wants to feel useful. This is what you ladies don't understand. So when you have developed your wealth and you got the bag, which you're not going to share with him because you want a man who has more anyway, he finds you useless because you can't produce any babies for him. And you're coming with a masculine energy, which he doesn't want. A man just wants a nice, beautiful woman, peaceful, make him a plate of food, give him some good sex, and be agreeable. Get on his program. He don't want a woman he has to fight with. Simple.
I was often embarrassed about being over the age of 40 and not married. I mean, I often felt like a failure. Like, why can't I figure this out? This thing that so many people do. Why couldn't I figure it out? And I also worried about what other people would think, worrying that they would say, oh, she must be crazy, or, oh, she must be really picky. I'm just terrified by it. During my 20s and most of my 30s, I was focused on my career. Relationships were not a priority. But at the end of my 30s, I'll never forget kind of having panic attacks, thinking, oh my gosh, what have I done with my life? How could I have let all this time go by and not have figured out the relationship thing? I've tried to do things to help. I've frozen my eggs and I'm online dating and doing all that. I woke up one day and I realized that I'm not married yet because I haven't met him. I haven't found him yet. And realizing that my path is my own, my path is not someone else's, that my journey is my own, has been so helpful for me. When it's time and it's right, it will happen. So for all of you over the age of 40 and you haven't found the one yet, hang in there. Hang in there.
Okay, this is what women say to console themselves. They're going to gloss over their mistakes. I'm going to paint over the scratch on that car. Scratch is still there. It's underneath. Because you glossed it over doesn't mean that it isn't there. Problem is, there's certain things in life you cannot reverse. And you cannot reverse aging. And more importantly, you cannot reverse the biological clock and your ability to procreate. You have passed geriatric pregnancy and you haven't met a man yet at 40. This is where the problem come in. So value is what we got to discuss. Saying you haven't found the one yet doesn't solve your problem, because the older you get, the worse it gets. Hey, listen, if you have a fruit that is starting to rot in the basket, listen, I'm not calling you ladies rotting fruit. That's what the Chinese do. But if you have a rotting fruit that's partially rot in a basket and the shop owner says, your turn will come. Oh, I'll sell this. I'll be able to sell this. Couple more days, somebody's going to come by and buy it. You know what happens a couple more days later? It's more rotten. It's not getting any better. At some point, it has passed the point where anyone is going to buy it. That's how you have to look at it. That's why it's essential, ladies, to turn this whole thing around. I'm hoping the next generation of women understands this. This is what I'm teaching my daughters. You get the security of a man first. Forget the whole phase, because that fun in whole phase is what's going to destroy your marriage. See my video from yesterday where I showed you how destructive the whole phase is. Do not do the whole phase and the fun phase. Have a minimum amount of men, and I'm talking about 1 or 2 before you settle down. If you do not do that, you will end up producing way too much dopamine, and because you have exposed yourself to so many different men, that becomes your metric for excitement. That is what gets you excited. That's your fun phase. That is the cocaine hit. And then when you get married now, where you got to settle down with one man, you can't do it long term, because you've already experienced the whole phase where you had a shitload of dopamine being produced. Your brain is going to default back there for excitement. So all of a sudden you're married, 5-6 years in, and you're bored. You don't want to touch your husband. This is happening all the time, every. I am getting the calls. The calls are coming in from men all over the world. Yeah, I haven't had sex with my wife in the last 2 years. Well, we had sex every 3 months, because women dopamine receptors have been so exhausted from going through so many men in their young years, it's difficult to settle down in their later years. So I am telling you, ladies of the new generation, if you have not given your body up already, please don't do it. It's going to hurt you in the long run. That's the I am not happy. That is what's happening to women's brains once they settle down. Stay away from toxic men early in your relationship. Settle down early, then have your kids, then focus on your career while you have your kids and your husband. It can be done. My wife did it. She did her master's while she had 2 kids and a husband. And because we were both working at the same time, we had a full-time maid for 16 years. So we had the resources to support us. When she had to study, I took over everything, or with the help of the nanny. Instead of actually wasting your most beautiful years, your most fertile years in your early years where you should secure the best man, because that's where the top men are going to come to get you when you're young and fertile. There's nothing wrong with being married and actually going to get a career and going to get your education. Nothing wrong with it. You can walk and chew gum. This idea that you were told that, oh, focus on your career first, focus on your education first, it's a pile of bullshit. As long as you get a steady man that don't put you through any bullshit, that can let you focus on your education and your job earlier in life. Pookie and Ray Ray don't do that. Get a good, solid guy that has his head on his shoulder. Make that become normal. This is where the problem comes in. I'm trying to give you ladies the key to life, the key to happiness.
47 years old. I am going to be 48 in November, and I have never been married, and I don't have kids. And there are people who will look at me and have said to me to my face, and they're like, Scarlett, I don't understand. You're a good-looking woman. You have a lot of things going for you. You have a great personality. Why is it that you've never been married? Like this is some sort of like character flaw, like somehow I'm missing something. And I never really answer their question, because I'm like, that is just a bullshit thing to say to a person, like that's somehow something's wrong with me that I've never been married. So here's the thing, this is my answer right now. I'm going to give it to you. The reason why I have never been married is because, one, I've never been asked, and two, I've never met someone who I truly wanted to marry. Like, I've been in a few relationships. I've been single longer than I've been in relationships.
This is the problem. She's an average to slightly below average looking woman in her 40s right now. I suspect when she was younger, she would have probably been average. I don't know how her body looks, but the bottom line is these women mess up their youth. They were with the wrong men early in life. They had no other man to vet the men that they get involved with. So they waste their time in really stupid relationships early in their lifetime. And then they get hurt, and then they say, oh, well, I'm going to wait. I'm going to try to find that right guy. And so now they're waiting for that top guy to actually ask them out. Listen. Ladies, you got to understand, men are responsible for relationships. It's amazing how most women don't get that concept. I had to drill that into Maria's head. No, but I said no. I get to say no. I said, yeah, you have the first right of refusal, but if he didn't ask you, you wouldn't be able to refuse. No, you control sex, because 99.9% of the time, the men want sex. All you have to say is no. So you control sex, ladies. Men control relationships. And each and every one of you ladies should know that. Until you're getting down on your knees, asking the man and giving up your wealth, like I said earlier, you're not responsible for relationships. So this woman, like every other woman, have put it off until it's too late. And she's become very accustomed to being alone. So she got very used to her own company. Her relationship skills have been dulled, non-existent. So it's hard for her now to even get involved with another man, because it's just, I'm used to being alone. This is another big problem a lot of modern women are now facing.
Understood your value, you would probably be quicker to walk away from bullshit. Like for me at this point in my life, I'm not spinning the block on bullshit.
You better say that.
You just can't keep spinning the block on bullshit. You really can't. Mm-hmm. And you have to have self-respect, and you have to have boundaries.
Yes.
You just do.
Yes.
And you gotta value yourself. If you don't value yourself, trust and believe a man won't value you.
This is another BS that women pump at each other. I am not going to put up with any BS. What she's basically saying is, I want the man, but I don't want him to have any freaking control over me. I want to be in the relationship, but I want to control him. I want to control the relationship. I want to be in a relationship, but I still want to act single. I do not want to submit to a man, but I want the man and I want his resources. These are all the things women are saying quietly when they say bullshit like this. I'm not going to settle for any BS. I'm not going to settle for. The problem is that if you are in a relationship, it involves compromise. And if you're in a relationship with a strong man, you better get under his program or you get out. Remember, he's responsible for the relationship. You mess that up, he's out. So these women like to act like they're tough and they're, I'm not going to put up with it. Then stay alone. That's why you are alone. Men come into their prime in their 50s. That's when they are most attractive to other women, because that's when his income peaks. That's when the things that women find attractive in him is at its peak. He also has the ability to go overseas, other cities, and find different women. Ladies don't have those opportunities because most countries, they do not have the men who have a significant amount of income like Western men. Javier living in Mexico, he might have a great degree, but you know what? He's earning pesos. Yeah, you earn more money than Javier with a degree. So if you're looking for a man to take care of you in the U.S., and he lives in Mexico and he don't have no desire to come back to the U.S., or if he does come to the U.S., you're going to come with your masculine attitude, he's out. He got that green card, he's out. Yeah, point is that ladies, you don't have any choice. So the problem is, ladies, you think that you're a big fish and you're playing in a pool of men who should comply to you, because that's what the feminism have taught you. And then you keep doing that shit, you keep putting it off and you keep putting it off and you keep throwing away one good man after the next, messing around with the Pookies and the Ray Rays. You might not have any kids, but the problem is that when you do meet a man later in life and you got your career, he might not want to have kids, but you're coming with an attitude. And the last thing an older man wants is a woman with a freaking attitude. Ugh, I shudder when I think about that shit. Last thing an older man wants is to come home and have freaking issues with some bossy woman. Forget about what the movies say. I'm telling you, most men just want peace. They don't want a fiery woman. They don't want a woman who is opinionated. Who wants that? I don't. My wife is the most peaceful thing. I'm the one that always go and disturb her more than she disturbs me, because I constantly have all of these ideas and I want to run them by her, you see. She just wants to sit in a corner and read, relax, drink a cup of coffee, and chill. All right, let's listen to one more. Let me see what this other woman has to say.
I'm not doing any more talking stages. I am done connecting with people, building with people, experiencing people for a short amount of time, for a temporary moment. I'm done with that. I'm actually in a place where I think I'm like done dating. Like, I don't want to date. I don't want to do this societal view of dating where everyone just dates and goes out and hangs out for fun because they're bored. I actually want to get to know someone. I actually want to be able to like someone. I'm just like, what the heck are we dating for? I'm very confused. So I don't want to date. I want to meet a man that's like, yo, I actually want to get to know you, Whitney. I really want to date you. Let's go. I want to really get to know you, Whitney. Like, come to me like that. I'm dating you. And if I'm being honest, I'm actually really bored. Like, I feel like I get really bored in the conversations that men have. I actually want to like talk about like real things. I just don't fit into the society. Like, I don't accept like men dating a bunch of women the same time as me. Like, I just want to meet one guy and connect with him and build with him, and then we'll figure out if we work out or not, and then we'll find someone else. I'm not a roster girl. I can't do it. When I like one person, I want to like him, and that's just me. And I feel like I don't fit into society's idea of dating, and I guess I really am just waiting for God to send the one that is for me, that actually agrees with me on.
Let me translate. I have had all the running around and playing in my 20s and mid 30s. Now I'm about to hit my 40s. You know what? I've done it. I'm bored with that. I'm not interested. But all the men who are coming into her life now, she's seen these men who are no longer interested in getting serious with her. So they're holding superficial conversations. None of these conversations go into the future with her. It's, where are you going tonight? What are you doing this weekend? Where are we going to do this? Blah, blah. None of it is revolving around, where do you see us having kids together? Where do you think we could go and live and buy a house together? Nothing that this man is going to say will be long-term conversations, because he don't see you as a long-term. So it has nothing to do with society, my dear. Dating for you is simply the men who are no longer interested in having you as a long-term prospect. Hit it, quit it, easy, light conversations, nothing that involves building with you. Sorry, You put it off until it was too late. And that's the problem with a lot of women who have put off relationships until it is too late. Solution? You have to be extremely submissive as a 40-year-old. You got to realize that you're not going to find a man in his 40s. It's probably going to be a man in his late 50s, early 60s. And this man is either not going to be interested in having any kids. If you have passed that point of having kids, he's not interested in becoming a father to a teenager in his 60s and 70 years old, in his early 70s. No, most men are not interested in that shit. If he has extreme wealth, probably. If he wants to try to build a bigger legacy, probably. But with those men, any of those men at this age, those men are going to come with some very strict demands when it comes to submission, because he's not going to put up with a woman with any bullshit at all. Submit or move on. Because men at my age, older, we don't have time for BS. No drama, no crap. Get on his program or move on. And that's hard for a lot of older women who are set in their ways, especially when they've been infiltrated with the whole feminist ideal. Okay, my friends, listen, I'm going to cut it off there. It's a bit of a long one, but I thought it would be worthwhile because I covered a lot of points, and I think that you guys would have gotten a lot from this lesson. So go over to the Remnant Princess YouTube channel. You know, you can find this video there, but I will also put the link in the top of the description of this particular video. You guys can click on that link and go directly there if you want to see the other half of it. I've only played half of it. It's a good collection of women just complaining. Pretty much. But it's a good video. All right. So my friends, remember to subscribe, book a session, and go and buy my digital content toolkit to help you produce digital content for the year 2025 and beyond. I want to help you guys create residual and passive income. So until next time, remember, whenever in doubt, always ask an older man. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.